Here are the stories of Dragon Ball's most invisible women, Videl, Mai, and Launch, all in one package. First introduced with a special gang, the Pilaf gang, who are, well, they're pretty iconic to the series as they were the first villains. They go after Goku, but a bunch of wolves attack them and Goku has to save them. They then also invade Roshi's island, but they just completely fail to do anything. Eventually, they're able to actually capture the Dragon Team and put them into the castle of their own. Though, they actually not only capture them once and keep them in captivity, but twice in metal bars. And it's seemingly like they're about to win until the full moon awakens Rosaru Goku, and he's able to defeat everybody there, leaving them all defeated. The Dior Naibaba tournament, where in the end Goku was able to pull out a victory against his grandpa. He finds the last Dragon Ball with the hands of the Pilaf gang, though they get easily defeated off screen. Though they then somehow get in possession of Piccolo's seal, and then they release him. They release the most evil character in Dragon Ball. Like, why would you do that? Anyway, they also get captured like Tien was in the battle. And they're just kind of fodder. And for the last part of the series, they're just with Chi-Chi and filler, and besides that, they literally don't do anything, which is interesting. The Pilaf gang don't appear much in Dragon Ball Z, so we move on to Dragon Ball's worst series, Dragon Ball GT, where they're the main cause of why it's so garbage. The ultimate Dragon Balls, as then they use them and by accident wish on something that made the series terrible, making Goku into a kid, and going for nostalgia as Pilaf had made the wish, and Ultimate Shenron had somehow heard it from his back comment as Goku was turned into a kid, and now he just literally ruined an entire series, as he also got saved by Super Saiyan 4 Goku in the Baby Saga. We now move on to Dragon Ball Super, and it's very interesting in what happens. First, they wish to be children, by Pilaf making a very, very dumb wish. They're also in the Battle of Gods movie, and they try and steal the Dragon Balls, but they just fail at doing it, as they then give back a gem to Goten and Trunks, talking about Mai, as Mai also holds Trunks at gunpoint, but of course it wouldn't work on Trunks, though Dragon Ball Super took their relationship a little weirdly, as seeing one scene they actually thought that they could actually be in love. What? She's 43 and he's 12. What the hell? And then they also, wait, not again, they're reviving Frieza? They helped Frieza forces just revive Frieza, and now Frieza is brought back and nearly destroyed the entire planet with his new golden transformation. And somehow they're still trusted to take care of Pan. What is going on in this series? Like, what is happening? And then, of course, Trunks and Mai throughout the series are just shipped, even though, again, there's a large age gap of like 30 years, and she even goes to him to a ball. This is just terrible. What is going on? Wait, future Trunks, who are you with? That's Mai? Wait, this isn't what I think it is, right? It's not what I think. Wait. Trunks is helping his past self get G-worded. Well, and their kiss. Okay, this is just rubbing it in the womb. Thank you. I mean, Maya, I guess, shoots Goku black in the anime and stuff. That's pretty good. And then she is a hostage in the manga, so Goku can Hakai Zamasu. And then their entire timeline gets erased by Zeno. Like, just terrible writing. I have to do a video on Goku Black Arc. And of course, Trunks and Mai just leave to an alternate timeline, and they're just a thing. This Dragon Ball, I was not expecting it to become like a certain other show called Seven Deadly Sins where, very disgusting things happen. I can't even say them in this video. Maybe Dragon Ball just isn't for me or for anyone. Maybe we should quit Dragon Ball. Oh, wait, it's Future Gohan! Okay, never mind, bro. This is the best. Dragon Ball's the best. Nothing ever wrong with it. It's the perfect series. Sparking Zero Future Gohan. I mean, Mai is just the perfect character. There's nothing wrong with Mai. She's great. She's not any bad words like the G or the P word. She's just amazing. Greatest character of all time. That's the video. Videl had the most potential out of every character in Dragon Ball, and everybody probably thinks that she's just a weak girl. But at the start of the Boo saga, she actually seemed like she was extremely powerful. However, she ended up losing all of her personality and just became a housewife, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that her character was completely destroyed. But here's the story of this character that went from extreme potential to now just being a hollow husk of her former self. The Golden Warrior stops some bank robbers who are trying to rob some stores until suddenly a blur is seen, and Gohan is surprised when Videl sees him and is able to catch him, though luckily she doesn't know who he is, as he heads to his high school and gets ready to do some school stuff. As he sees his class, he recognizes Videl, and a girl named Arasa also has a crush on him, but it's not really that important. There's some other side adventures. He becomes the Great Saiyaman and learns some pretty wacky poses, though eventually Videl would strike him and try and find his identity. After being able to catch him lacking, she's able to figure out his identity by calling him Gohan, and now he has to introduce Videl to his family and train her up with her blackmail. She would then come to his house in a helicopter? How does she even know how to drive that? Anyway, she starts to learn how to fly, and the training would begin with Goten being there and easily getting it, making Videl pretty mad, as all she could do was barely float off the ground. However, this training and personalized training that Gohan did got feelings out of both of them, of love, as he would then suggest for a pixie cut, which she would get after some resistance. And this is just pretty cool. I mean, I didn't even know what a pixie cut was until I saw Dragon Ball, but anyway, she was able to actually learn how to fly right as the Budokai had just arrived. The Chi-Chi had met Videl and, well, inspected her. We finally reached the Budokai, as Videl gets ready to battle and sees the punching machine, where she's surprised when Vegeta is able to easily destroy the machine. And when she sees the clash between Goten and Trunks, this shocks her even more, as she's then forced to fight against Spofovich. And this fight goes, well, interestingly. She's able to get the advantage at the beginning, but then she starts getting beaten up. She just can't keep up, as this is one of the most brutal beatdowns I have ever seen in Dragon Ball, where her back gets blown out by kicks, though she is able to snap Spofovich's neck. However, she's just defeated in the end due to his regeneration, as he then is able to launch her out of the arena by dropping her to the ground. After such a beating, Videl was knocked out and was forced into the hospital. As her beaten body lays, Gohan gets her a senzu bean, and after eating it, she gets her strength restored and returns to the arena to watch her father fight in the final rounds of the tournament. After meeting up with Gohan, she actually decides to go with him and Kibito to the ship of Majin Buu. However, eventually she just can't keep up with them with flight and decides not to go with them, and with her being with the kids, you would expect her to do something. I mean, like, she's pretty powerful, and even though she's weaker than Goten and Trunks, maybe she could learn some skills or get some power-ups to at least somewhat help in the situations, but she does literally nothing. She does nothing in the series at all, which is ridiculous because she literally was trained by Gohan, the guy with the most potential in the series, and with just regular training, she literally surpassed her own father, who has superhuman feats in Mr. Satan. So it just seems really weird that she does nothing else in the Buu saga. She tries to fight Buu, but is just turned into candy, and that's just it. And then at the end, she's just there. She did nothing in the Buu arc, and it's really annoying, because I feel like she had a lot more potential that was shown. And then when we get into Dragon Ball Super, well, let's just get into it. Videl starts off by doing something good by helping in the God ritual with Pan inside of her womb. But she's lost all of her personality. Like, she just is boring. She's just a nice girl. She has none of the personality she had in the Buu saga. I mean, she did play the joke on Gohan, where she got shot in the healing with Dende, but besides that, she literally just has no personality at all. Maybe it's because she has no screen time, and that's why it seems like she has no personality, but she had a lot of potential. Like, maybe the God Ritual allowed her to unlock her own transformation using the Saiyan genes from the ritual. It would have been a pretty interesting concept that Master Go X actually covered in one of his what-ifs. Another situation that was really bad was when Videl in Dragon Ball Super Superhero was terrible mother, literally shopping while her daughter got stolen. It could have been an opportunity where she could have fought Gamma too, and impressed the Gamma, as well as make the Gamma realize that maybe the Red Ribbon aren't as good, and Piccolo could have even complimented her for continuing her training, and as well as being strong. Though Videl just is more than useless, she's just fodder and has no feats and is just trash. While Videl started off with an extreme amount of potential, more than most characters in the series, she just was a punching bag in the end in Dragon Ball Z. While in Dragon Ball Super, she lost every single bit of personality and became boring. But at least she did do one thing that was extremely impressive that no other character had done before. She was the first female Super Saiyan, as well as the first human to ever go Super Saiyan and the only human to go Super Saiyan. Launch is the most forgotten character within the Dragon Ball franchise. Most don't even know that Launch exists due to not watching the original Dragon Ball. But is there more to Launch than just being a sexy woman, or did she just deserve to be forgotten? Here's the story of Dragon Ball's forgotten character. We first meet our hero in Brown County, which is a very strange name for a county, but basically she's, well, a big criminal, having a bounty of 2 million zeni, the highest bounty and the biggest criminal in the area, as she then robs a train in her blonde-haired form. Basically, when she sneezes, she goes into this blonde-haired form, kind of a parallel to Super Saiyan a little bit, where she's basically a criminal and evil, but when she sneezes again, she goes into this blue-haired form that's nice and kind. She robs the train and nearly gets away, but then she sneezes, going into her nice and weak state, leaving her vulnerable to the police. But Goku and Krillin save her, as they actually needed her for Roshi's training, as it was his first challenge that he offered them to get the training. And they save Launch and defeat the police, bringing her back to Kame House. She's introduced to Master Roshi and convinced to put on lingerie with the other fighters. As well, the reason why is obviously because Roshi's horny, and he's doing it to the other fighters to make it seem like he's not doing it out of bad intentions. However, she sneezes and Blonde Launch starts shooting at all 3 of them, causing all of them to get injured, and showing that Launch isn't really that important of a character. She isn't really even a major fighter needing to use guns, and she might just become irrelevant. Struggle for relevance for Launch begins as she's just kind of used for jokes. Roshi tries to sneak up on her and she catches him, allowing her to use her gun and shoot everybody, including Goku and Roshi, though luckily Goku knocked her out. And this is the type of stuff Launch was used for in the story. She wasn't really that important compared to other characters who actually had main roles in the Tenkaichi Budokai or the many other arcs. She then also does many other things like go to the 21st Budokai and watch, is in the Red Ribbon arc for a little while, and then in the 22nd tournament, she gets a crush on Tien Shinhan after watching the tournament and seeing how he actually defeated Goku. But overall, she isn't that important. While it may seem bad for Launch, she had one thing. She had a relationship with Tien, and Tien was the last major villain, well, besides Piccolo Daimao, but that it really isn't that fair, and she is part of the group, so maybe she gets more relevance. Sadly, she doesn't get any relevance at all. Tien becomes basically a side character after the OG Dragon Ball, and she literally disappears from Dragon Ball Z. Though she does appear in Dragon Ball GT briefly, she isn't too important actually, only really appearing one time at the end of the series. And in Dragon Ball Super, she doesn't appear at all, which is just kind of sad, as she had potential as a character with an interesting lifestyle with her sneezing, turning her nice and also mean. Sadly, it just didn't really work out for her since, well, she wasn't a strong, mighty man or even a powerful fighter, so she couldn't do anything. Launch was pretty much just a sexy lady. She at least had a role for a little bit. But the best part about her sacrifice of being forgotten is that it allowed for many of the other characters to shine and for Toriyama not to make the same mistake again. I mean, look at the series. Many of the other characters, even like Yajirobe or Chaozu, still appear in the series, even in the manga of Super and in the anime or even the movies. So basically, even though Launch was forgotten and no one really even remembers her besides a couple people, at least she stopped other characters from being forgotten. She allowed for a better path to be made, and she allowed for everybody to really have a place in Dragon Ball, so her being forgotten was a worthwhile sacrifice to make many of the other characters have more roles in the series, and also allowing for many other characters not to be forgotten. This is what we can learn from Launch. While Launch is probably just in the world of Dragon Ball, maybe at a bar, or maybe even just living somewhere random in the woods, she still could return. I mean, Tien, while not being very important in the story, could gain relevance, as I've said in my Tien story video, go check it out, and basically, he could still be relevant due to a couple things like his third eye and his alien heritage, which wasn't explored in the series, meaning Launch might return in some type of series about Tien or his race, though that's pretty unlikely, but at least Launch has gotten very good fan reception, as even Masako X has used Launch for What If Raditz Turned Good, and even had her have a kid named Launch. So overall, I think that Launch was a good character, and she ended up at least with a safe life, well, pretty safe for the Dragon Ball universe. That's the video, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe because I would really appreciate it, and yeah, that's the video.